Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Good morning. So you're able to see the screen?
Sir.
Hello? You're able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the last class, we were discussing IEEE 802.11. Yes? We discussed IEEE 802.11 and also we discussed IEEE 802.11 architecture.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me IEEE 802.11 is the standard for what type of LAN?
Wireless LAN.
Wireless local area network, right?
Yes, sir.
Wireless local area network. 802.11 uses what protocol on MAC layer for collision avoidance? What protocol it uses? 802.3 uses CSMA CD. 802.11 uses carrier sense multiple access with the collision avoidance. Right? CSMA CA collision avoidance. Also, yesterday we discussed what is the frequency at which IEEE 802.11 operates. There are two types of bandwidth at it operates, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz bandwidth. And also we discussed IEEE 802.11 architecture. In IEEE 802.11 architecture, what is a station? STA. We discussed it right yesterday. STA.
Yes.
STA stands for stations. There are two types of stations. Wireless access points as stations are also referred simply as access points, and also client workstations. Right? It may be a computer, it may be a laptop, printer, smartphone which is connected. What is a BSS? Basic Service Set. Basic Service Set. Set of access points and stations. We call it as a BSS. And this works in two modes of operations of BSS. whatever we discussed yesterday, just I am quickly summarizing. BSS, it may be infrastructure BSS or independent BSS. If stations access the access point, WAP or AP, right? So if it wants to talk to any other station, then it uses AP, then it is infrastructure BSS. If it is a peer-to-peer communication where there's no involvement of the access point, then we call it as independent BSS, right? So these are the things that we studied yesterday. Today we have to discuss frame format of IEEE 802.11. Before that, we have to discuss what is hidden terminal problem and exposed terminal problem. I think you are able to see the screen, right? Very fast, we have to understand what is hidden terminal problem. If you look at the example of a wireless network given here, there are two nodes, right? A, B, there are three nodes, A, B, and C. A having, this is the radio range of the A. B is also within the radio range of A, right? And also you are having C here. B is also within C. Therefore, if A wants to make a transmission to B, it can easily make. A is visible to B and B is visible to A. Whereas C is visible to B, but C is not visible to A. Similarly, for C, A is not visible. So these not visible nodes, which are out of their radio range, are not known to them. So A is not knowing C, C is not knowing A. This situation where nodes are hidden to each other. Now A and C, we say A and C are hidden each other respectively. Okay, A cannot know the presence of C and C cannot know the presence of A. So this is called hidden terminal problem when A is not knowing that C is present, or when C is not knowing that A is present. If A makes the transmission, right? If A makes the transmission, its packet may get collided. So here you can see the situation. Consider the situation in the following figure where each of four nodes is able to send and receive signals that reach just the nodes to its immediate left and right. For example, B can exchange frame with A and C. B can exchange frame with A and C, but it cannot reach D. So assume the D here, it cannot reach D. C can reach B and D. C it is here. D is, let us say, D point is located on the circumference of the this circle, okay, where C present. So in that case, C can reach B and D reach B and D, but not A. So this is the problem. And we have another type of problem called exposed node problem. Suppose B is sending to A, node C is aware of this communication because it hears B. Again, refer back to this, right? So we are talking here with respect to the same figure. It would be a mistake for C to conclude that it cannot transmit. Say now, with respect to the same figure, ABC, we are taking the case of ABC. A can transmit to B and B can transmit to C, not a problem. But since in case B is transmitting to A, these packets or these transmission frames also reaches C since they are in the radio range. Since B is exposed to terminal to C. C knows that B is transmitting. Its activities are known to C and its presence is known to C. C cannot make a proper decision regarding when to send the frame, when to not to send the frame. Okay. So whenever you have got a terminal exposed, C is having the terminal or the node B, which is exposed. So that is exposed terminal problem. So both problems are addressed in IEEE 802.11. So there collision avoidance is there. Collision avoidance. So we'll see IEEE 802.11 how it access, how it solves these problems. You can note down a question like this with the help of a proper scenario or figure. Discuss hidden terminal problem and exposed terminal problem. Okay, this is one question, important question. And also IEEE 802.11, IEEE 802.11 collision avoidance. Discuss IEEE 802.11 collision avoidance algorithm for handling hidden terminal problem and exposed terminal problem. We say 802.11 addresses these two problems with an algorithm called multiple access with collision avoidance, MACA. The key idea of this algorithm is that sender and receiver exchange control frames with each other before the sender actually transmits any data. So first let us try to understand how this algorithm works. We know that there are many confusions when ABCD terminals are nodes are there, because basically this problem has been arised because there is no communication among them. So IEEE 802.11 multiple access with collision avoidance algorithm introduces some mechanism which brings understanding among the nodes which are hidden and exposed, okay, either directly or indirectly. Sender and receiver exchange control frames with each other before the sender actually transmits any data. So, sender and receiver are made to exchange control information regarding their preparedness, whether you are sending or not sending, whether can I send the frame, so request to send frame, whether there is a clear to send, these control informations are exchanged between the sender and receiver. This exchange informs, so whenever RTS and CTS are being exchanged, nearby nodes are supposed to understand that there is a transmission going to happen and they should not make their transmission. So that is an awareness alert information. So it RTS and CTS serves as awareness and alert information for the other nodes which are in the radio range, which are not sender and receivers, but they need to cooperate. So sender transmits a request to send frame to the receiver. Okay, request to send to the receiver. Sender transmit it to the receiver. The receiver in turn has to reply with clear to send. When this happens, both sender and receiver start sending and receiving the frames. The RTS frame includes a field that indicates how long the sender wants to hold the medium, right? How long he is going to use. That information will be noted by other participants as well. And the length, duration of holding a particular channel also depends on the length of the data frame to be transmitted. Okay, receiver receives with a clear to send frame. This frame echoes this length field back to the sender. So this is how it happens. Any node that finds clear to send frame knows that it is close to the receiver, therefore cannot transmit for the time period during which the sender is making the transmission of the frame of the specified length. Any node that finds RTS frame but not the CTS frame can transmit. It is free to transmit. Okay, because request to send is not there. Any node request to send frame is found but not the send clear to send frame. Then it is free to transmit the frame. This is how this works. So these points you have to write in the exam if they ask you. And now IEEE 802.11 frame format we have to discuss. So in this IEEE 802.11 frame format, so you can note down the frame formats. So you are having 16 or 2 bytes of control frame and 16 bits or 2 bytes of duration, address of 48 bits or 6 bytes. Such address, 3 addresses are there. Sequence control 16 bits, address for 48 bits, payload and CRC checksum. These are the different fields in the IEEE 802.11 frame format. The main field of a wireless LAN, the main thing in this is frame control that we need to understand. Frame control. The frame control, it is a 2 bytes starting field, and this control field, 16 bits control field itself consists of 11 subfields that we discussed. It contains control information of frame. Duration, it is a 2 byte field. This is the duration field in IEEE 802.11 frame format. Duration. Hello? You are listening,
Yes,
right? Listening, getting?
Yeah, sir.
Is there any problem?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Duration is 2 byte field that specifies the time period for which the frame and its acknowledgement occupy the channel. Address fields. So these fields source address, immediate destination, and the final endpoint address. So there are 3 address fields here. So one is for destination, and another one is for source, immediate destination, and the final endpoint. Sequence. This is sequence. It is 2 byte field that stores the frame numbers. This stores the frame numbers. You have data. This is a variable size. That's why it's marked like this. This variable size of the field carries data from upper layers. The maximum size is given here, 18,496. Check sequence is a 4 byte field containing error detection information. For example, CRC, cyclic redundancy check, it can have. So this is the frame format of IEEE 802.11. So with respect to this, you can understand that MAC layer in IEEE 802.11 provides functionality for several tasks like control medium access, can also offer support for roaming, authentication, and power conservation. The basic services provided by MAC are mandatory data services, and also these are the time-bounded services. IEEE 802.11 defines 2 MAC sublayers. Within the data link layer, we know of LLC and MAC. And MAC, it divides into distributed coordinating function, DCF. DCF uses CSMA CA, that is carrier cells multiple access collision avoidance, as a access method for wireless LAN. Wireless LAN cannot implement CSMA CD, collision detection. It offers asynchronous service. Another sublayer in the IEEE 802.11 MAC is point coordinator function, PCF. PCP is implemented on top of DCF and mostly used for time service transmission. It uses a centralized contention-free polling access method. It offers both asynchronous and time-bounded services. MAC layer frame, this part, consists of 9 fields. Okay. These 9 fields are just for the information purpose, and it is not mentioned in your syllabus. So you need not go in depth with respect to the frame control. But however, you need to know some information to elaborate with respect to the frame control, because frame control is mentioned here. So it is a 2-byte long field which defines the type of frame and some control informations. Various fields are present in the frame control with the version of the protocol that you are using. Type, it is a 2-bit field which determines the function of frame, that is management frame, control frame, or data frame. Subtype, which indicates the subtype of the frame, like association request or beacon. DS, it is a 1-bit long field. When set, it indicates the destination frame is for distribution system, DS. From DS, it is a 1-bit long field, which when set indicates frame coming from DS. Also, you are having more fragment. It's a 1-bit long field. When set to 1 means frame is followed by other fragments. Retract is a 1-bit long field. If the current frame is a transmission of an earlier frame, this will set to 1. So you can just you can go to Gigs for Gigs, and also you can find some information in Gigs for Gigs. So this elaboration of the frame control is not given in your textbook, but it is available here in Gigs for Gigs, IEEE 802.11 control frame. Okay, so here, if you can go, you can find the information. You can find here MAC frame. So in your syllabus, this DS is given. DS is representing stands for distribution system. So to explain that and to explain the frame control of 2 bytes, so you can use this information. So MAC layer frame consists of 9 fields. The following figure basic structure of IEEE 802.11 MAC data frame along with the content of the frame control field. I am talking here. So frame control, just this 2 bytes of the frame is expanded here. So 2 bytes is totally 16 bits. It consists of protocol version of 2 bits, type of 2 bits, subtype 4 bits, 2DS 1 bit, from DS 1 bit, more fragment 1 bit, retry 1 bit, power management 1 bit, more data 1 bit, wireless encryption protocol that you are using 1 bit, and order 1 bit. So that is being explained here. Now more fragment, it is 1 bit long field, which when set to 1 means frame is followed by other fragments, some more fragments to come, similar to the IP packet. Retry, it is 1 bit long field. If the current frame is a transmission of earlier frame, this bit is set to 1. Power management, it is a 1 bit long field which indicates the mode of a station after successful transmission of a frame. Set to 1, the field indicates that station goes into power save mode. If the field is set to 0, the station stays active. More data, it's a 1 bit long field which is used to indicate a receiver that a sender has more data to send than the current frame. This can be used by an access point to indicate to a station in power save mode that more packets are buffered, or it can be used by a station to indicate an access point after being polled that more polling is necessary as the station has more data ready to transmit. WEP, this is again a 1 bit field. All these fields what we are talking is 1 bit. So there is a chance of either setting it to 1 or 0. If it is 1 bit long field, which indicates that sender standard security mechanism of IEEE 802.11 is applied. Order, it is a 1 bit long field. If this bit is set to 1, the received frames must be processed in strict order. So this is these are the fields. Duration, it's a 4 bytes long field which contains the value indicating the period of time in which medium is occupied. It will be in microseconds. So and this time is depending upon the how long is the frame. And address 1 to 4, there are 6 bytes long field which contain standard IEEE 802 MAC address. We know that every MAC address is 48 bit. The meaning of each address depends on the DS bit in the control field. Sequence control, it is a 16 bits long field which consists of 2 subfields, sequence number of 12 bits and fragment number of 4 bits. Since acknowledgement mechanism frames may be duplicated, hence a sequence number is used to filter duplicate frames. So data, it is a variable length field which contains information specific to individual frames. Cyclic redundancy check, it is a 4 bytes long field which contains 32-bit CRC error detection sequence to ensure free frame. So these are the things that you need to focus. I already circulated the notes of this. You can go through that also. Now we'll go to the cyclic redundancy check. So we'll take this part now. So we know that error checking different mechanisms, parity bits, right? What are the different mechanisms that we are aware of as of now? Can you just one or two can answer?
So having
Hello?
code,
Having
hashing
code,
algorithm,
correct? And
hashing algorithm
hashing algorithm for what purpose?
CRC.
for integrity.
To find the message integrity and
Yes, sir.
cyclic redundancy check, right?
Yes, sir.
So we know that cyclic redundancy check is an error detecting code. So to find the error corrections, right? So it's a method for detecting the errors that accidentally occurs, that are intentional errors. It is difficult to find in CRC. Accidental errors we can find, and this is a very common code used in digital networks and storage devices to detect the raw data. What changes have happened in the raw data they can find. Blocks of data entering these systems get a short check value attached based on the remainder of a polynomial division of their content. CRC are also called so because the check, that means data verification happens. So cyclic redundancy check means here data verification. So value is redundancy. It expands the message without adding information. So redundancy means the information is added, but that message, it's not message redundancy, information redundancy. And algorithm is also based on cyclic quotes. CRCs are popular because they are simple to implement in binary hardware. That's why they are popular, easy to analyze mathematically, and particularly good at detecting common errors caused by noisy channel during the transmission. Because the check value has a fixed length, the function that generates is occasionally used as a hash function. CRCs are specifically designed to protect against common types of error on communication channels, where they can provide quick and reasonable assurance of the integrity of the messages delivered. CRCs are specially designed to protect against types of errors on communication channels. Secondly, unlike cryptographic hash functions, CRC is an easily reversible function, which makes it is unusable for use in digital signatures. If it is reversible, so then it is not suitable for using in digital signatures, as we have already discussed. Cyclic redundancy check, how this works basically, you have to know. So we have just seen the introduction of what is CRC. This information also I have already circulated in the form of written notes. Yes or no? You received this note, right? Hello?
Yes, sir, on the WhatsApp group.
Yes, on the WhatsApp group. So the same thing I am discussing now. Cyclic redundancy check is a method of detecting accidental errors, as we have seen. And CRC uses generator polynomial, which is available on both sender and receiver sides. An example is taken here. An example generator polynomial is of the form x cube plus x plus 1. This generator polynomial represents key 1011. 1011. So this is how, see here, x cube present, we are writing 1. X square is not present, we are writing 0. X component is present, write 1. And this last constant present, write 1. This is how we get generator polynomial representing key. This generator polynomial represents the key. Which key? 1011. Similarly, x square plus 1. Okay, this represents 101. 101. So x square present. So x is the absent, so we have written 0, and 1 is present, the last constant term, so we have written 1. So number of bits in data to send from sender side, n we take. What n represents? The number of bits in data to be sent from sender side. Number of bits in the key obtained from generator polynomial. Okay, this is the generator polynomial from which we obtain the key as shown now. So that is k, number of bits in the key obtained from generator polynomial. Now, what happens, on what basis the work happens, both at the sender side and receiver side, we have to know. Sender side, generation of encoded data from data and generator polynomial are key. Generator polynomial means key, that key obtained from the generator polynomial. The binary data is first augmented by adding k minus 1 zeros in the end of the data. So what data you want to send? So that data is augmented, appended, added at the end by the zeros. How many zeros we have to enter? K minus zeros. What is k? K is the generator polynomial key, like this 1011. Now, if you are having 4, 1, 1, 0, 1, right? So here you are having 4 bits. K minus 1 means if this is K minus 1 is 3. So 3 zeros we have to add at the end of the binary data that you have to send. Use modulo 2 binary division. The second step is use modulo 2 binary division to divide binary data by the key and store remainder of the division. Append the remainder at the end of the data to form the encoded data and send. So now you have to append the remainder. So whatever the remainder that comes after doing the modulo 2 binary division, that you have to append at the remainder at the end of the remainder to form the encoded data and send the same. This is how the CRC works. At receiver side, what happens? Check if there are errors introduced during the transmission. Okay, we have taken some data, binary data that has to be transmitted, and we have added the number of zeros, and number of zeros added is equal to k minus 1 number of zeros, and then modulo 2 binary division is done, and then resultant the remainder obtained is appended and sent. Receiver side, perform modulo 2 division again, and if the remainder is 0, then there are no errors. So again, modulo is similar to your message integrity using the hash function. So that we have to do. How this modulo 2 division works? I think you remember the process of modulo 2 binary division is same as familiar division process we use for decimal number. Just instead of subtraction, we use XOR there. In each step, a copy of XORed with the k bits of the dividend. The result of XOR operation is n-1 bits, which is used for next step after one extra bit is pulled down to make it n bits long. So this is how we can take an example to understand this. So example 1, no error in transmission. So try to understand this CRC using the two cases. One is a case where there are no errors in transmission. Other is the case where there exists a error in the transmission. Data want to be sent. So let us say this is the binary data that you want to send 100,100. Key used is 1101. This is obtained from the generator polynomial x cube plus x square plus 1. So we will get x cube present 1. So x square present, you write 1. X component does not present, you write 0. And 1 present. The last constant part is present. We have written 1. This is how we got the generator polynomial. Now we have to do modular 2 division. So this is the data to be sent 10010. So 100,100. For that, we added this key having 4 bits. So we have to add. So key k is having 4 bits. So k equals 4. If you are having k equals 4, k minus 1 bits are to be added. That is 4 minus 3. 3 bits are added here. And then modular division is done. So this is given here. So how modular division has to be done is explained. So at home you go through this division process. So after division, the remainder is 001, and hence the encoded data to be sent is this. So this is the data to be sent. Remainder was 001 we got. That 001 is appended here. So replace the last 3 zeros by 001. So 100100001 is transmitted. At the receiver side, code word received at the receiver side is this. Okay, because this is the case where there is no error. So the same thing is received. In a case where there are no errors, we assume whatever is transmitted, the same thing is received at the receiver end. Again, at the receiver end, take this received data. Received binary data is 100100001 that we are written, and you are already having the generator polynomial key. Generator polynomial key is 1101 obtained from the generator polynomial x cube plus x square plus 1. So when we look at this, we got the key. Divide this again using the key 1101. So now the remainder is 0. Therefore, remainder is all zeros, hence data received has no error. This is how we have to confirm. Now, the case of transmission, not retransmission, case of transmission where error exists, we are taking. Again, the data word to be sent is 100100. The key that we considered is again the generator polynomial key 1101. At the sender side, again you divide this value to be sent by 1101, the remainder is 001. Therefore, remainder is 001, and hence the code word sent is, so last 3 bits has to be appended, replace the last 3 zeros by 001. So now this is the word that we are sending, 1001000001. So this is the code that we are receiving. But now this is the case of the transmission where error exists. So let there be an error in transmission media. So code word received at the receiver side is like this. So the 4th bit 1 is inverted into 0. So that's why we are having 1 and all zeros and 1 at the end. So this again we have to take here, and using the generator polynomial key 1101 make the division. Now obviously there exists a remainder 011. So since the remainder is not all zeros, the error is detected at the receiver side. So this is how you can implement and you can understand the cyclic redundancy check. So you can find many implementations in different languages. If as a part of the assignment, you can implement the cyclic redundancy check either using C, C++, Java, or Python. It is an optional one. It is not compulsory assignment. So these things you can understand, right? So this is cyclic redundancy check. Now we will go to another simple protocol called that we explains how framing is done. So we know that frame is basically a word term that we use on the data link layer, right? So can you just tell me what are the terms used in different OSI reference layer? On the physical layer, right? On physical layer, we treat them as bits. On data link layer, we use the term frame, and on the network layer, we use the term packet, and transport layer, we use the term segment. So this frame, whenever a node wishes to transmit a frame to node B, it tells its adapter to transmit a frame from the node's memory. So this results in a sequence of bits being sent over the link. The adapter on node B then collects together the sequence of bits arriving on the link and deposits the corresponding frames in B's memory, recognizing exactly what set of bits constitute a frame. That is, determining where the frame begins and ends is the central challenge faced by the adapter during the frame transmission. So while framing, we are having two protocols, byte-oriented protocols, to view each frame as a collection of bytes rather than bits. So byte-oriented protocol treats them as bytes rather than bits. So this is very, very important, and we have to understand this basic concept. Binary synchronous communication protocol is used for framing. BSYNC, binary synchronous communication protocol. So this BISYNC frames transmission begins with the leftmost field. Beginning of a frame is denoted by sending a special synchronized character. Beginning of the frame. Beginning, it alerts So transmission of the frame begins. The alert, the sync. That's why it is called synchronization character. So the other receivers should be made aware, should be alerted using the flag, one bit flag or one bit synchronization character. Data portion of the frame is contained between special character STX, start of text, and end of text. 1 minute. SOH stands for start of the header. DLE stands for data link escape, and then cyclic redundancy check CRC. Using these fields, this BSYNC binary synchronous communication protocol framing is done. So this is what we have just shown. Okay, start of the header. So these two are called delimiters of the actual data and CRC. This is very simple, but as I have told you, there are some frame formats you have to remember. As I discussed, just remembered, brought to your notice, right? So IEEE 802.3, IEEE 802.11. Along with that, you have to see and remember this BISYNC frame format. So this is very, very important and simple also. Okay. So another protocol that you can understand is point-to-point frame format. Point-to-point, which is commonly run over the internet links. So special start of the text character denoted as flag. So this is used 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So this is special start of the text character. This is called denoted as flag. So this is fixed, and this indicates there in this BISYNC frame format, there's only one byte. So here like this is fixed 0, 1, 1. Okay. So how many? 0, 6 ones, and then 0. And then address and control, default numbers. Protocol for demultiplexing. Payload negotiated. So 1500 bytes. That's the maximum payload. And checksum for error detection. This is so flag, address, control, protocol, payload, checksum, and flag. So byte counting approach. So that counts how many bytes are contained in the frame body. So that is used. So if count is corrupted, the framing error exists. Error exists in the frame, right? So this is almost same thing, but some little change in the frame format. So this is how various different types of framing you can see. And another is HDLC framing. HDLC, here it is a bit-oriented protocol, a high-level data link control protocol. So you are having beginning and ending sequence. This is the beginning of the frame, and you are having header and body and CRC and ending sequence. So HDLC comparatively a simple protocol, so not having much fields in the frame. So beginning of the sequence, header, body, CRC, and ending sequence. On the sending side, any time 5 consecutive ones have been transmitted from the body of the message, that is excluding when the sender is trying to send distinguished sequence. The sender inserts 0 before transmitting the bit. So this is shown here. So on the receiving side, 5 consecutive ones. So next bit is 0, stuffed, so discarded it. 1, either end of the frame marker, or 0 has been introduced in the bit stream. Look at the next bit. If 0, then you are having 0, end of the frame marker. This is the end of the frame marker. If 1, then error, discard the whole frame. The receiver needs to wait for next 0, for 6 ones and 0 before it can start receiving. So error detection, we have seen many mechanisms for error detection. Bit errors are introduced into frames because of electrical interferences and thermal noises. Detecting or correcting errors are important, and it is part of the error control engineering. Two approaches: when the recipient detects an error, notifies the sender that the message was corrupted, and so the sender can send it again. If the error is rare, then the retransmitted message will be error free. Using some error correction and detection algorithm, the receiver reconstructs the message. So these things, parity bit generators and internet checksum algorithm, all these things we have discussed already. And so again, and CRC, these things we have already discussed. So again, I will not spend the time in this. Sliding window protocol, all these things we have discussed. So Ethernet, right? So Ethernet, IEEE 802.3, algorithm, CSMA CD, Internet frame format, these things we have discussed. So you can note down a question as per your syllabus. So compare IEEE 802.15.1, that is the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and 3G cellular networks with respect to the length of the transmission, typical data rate, and typical use and wire technology analogy. So refer to this table. This very important. In some question papers they have asked the comparison of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and 3G cellular networks. So you can write this table with the brief explanation. So with this we are completing the syllabus of the 20 MCA 1-3. Okay. So from the next class onwards, we will discuss some case study questions, and we will revise some topics which are interested. And as Raman was asking, there are some syllabus where you have to know what topics you have to focus much and to what level you have to focus much, that we can see. So, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So with this,
sir.
I declare that syllabus is over, but classes are not over. We have to do the revision, some more discussions we have to do, case study questions and innovative questions of the third internal test we have to discuss. Okay, and the topics where you find some doubts and all, we can discuss because all the materials are with you. Okay, and we can discuss and clarify. Is it fine?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so for today, we have completed the syllabus of 20 MCA 1-3.
Yes, sir.
So the next class is on Saturday. So bring your assignments and open book test books also. I'll give some of the problems with respect to cycling CRC, with respect to the TCP congestion control, and some other questions. And you can find the answers and write and discuss. And if there are any doubts, you can clarify. Okay, please answer your attendance. Anaga?
Yes, sir.
Abhilash,
Yes, sir.
Akhil, Akhil, Akrut Kumar,
Yes, sir.
Anusha,
Yes, sir.
Arvind,
Present, sir.
Arifullah,
Yes, sir.
Benakaraj.
Present, sir.
Yesterday you were not present.
Sir?
Yesterday you were not there, no?
Yes, sir. Yesterday I was not.
Banu Prakash,
Yes, sir.
Rahmatullah,
Present, sir.
Chaitra,
Present, sir.
Chandana, Sharan Kumar,
Sir, Banapatak present, sir.
Darshan
Sir,
Kumar.
Bhargav present, sir.
Okay, okay.
Present, sir.
Darshan,
Present, sir.
Diksha,
Present,
Diksha,
sir. Present, sir.
Dakshayani,
Present, sir.
Kishan,
Present, sir.
Harshit, Hemalata,
Present, sir.
Uma Bushra,
Present, sir.
Jayant,
Present, sir.
Divya,
Yes, sir.
Kaushik,
Present, sir.
Lakshmi,
Present, sir.
Lavanya,
Present, sir.
Manish,
Present, sir.
Manoj,
Present, sir.
Mohit,
Yes, sir.
Naval,
Present, sir.
Naval 50 out of 50 attendance. Navya,
Present, sir.
Nikhil,
Present, sir.
Panindra,
Present, sir.
Pavan,
Present, sir.
Pooja,
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
Purnima,
Present, sir.
Raman,
Yes, sir.
Rashmi,
Yes,
Rupak
sir.
Datta, Sai Kumar,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Deepak Datta, present, sir.
Samir, Shada Bansari,
Present, sir.
Sharan,
Present, sir.
Shashank,
Yes, sir.
Shivani, Soumeshri,
Present, sir.
Spurti, Sri Vishnu,
Present, sir.
Sugandhini,
Present, sir.
Sushma,
Present, sir.
Sushmita,
Present, sir.
Sushmita you,
Present, sir.
Tirtha KB,
Present, sir.
Trupti M,
Present, sir.
Varsha,
Present, sir.
Veena,
Present, sir.
Sheetal,
Present, sir.
Santosh,
Sir, Pawan present,
Sir,
sir.
Samir, present,
okay,
sir.
okay. I know.
Sir, Chandana, present, sir.
Yes, yes.
Present, sir.
Harsha, present, sir.
Okay. Thank you. We'll meet on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.